Since the beginning of Pokemon's inception, they have always released each generation with 2 games instead of just 1. Now obviously this is for money purposes, but there are differences with choosing one version over the other, such as the legendary Pokemon you can obtain through the main story. Which, by the way, who do you guys prefer? Rhydon or Rhydon? But anyways, they also bring exclusive Pokemon you can find only in one game or the other. For example, in Heart Gold you can get an Arcanine, but not Vulpix, and the opposite is true for Soul Silver. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool to use version exclusive Pokemon in a hardcore Nuzlocke setting? And I decided to do this in Pokemon Sword, where we have a ton of version exclusives to choose from, and even some from the Isle of Armor. I doubt I'll use them all, let alone catch them all, but this should be fun. Also, since there's so many Pokemon to choose from, I won't be Dynamaxing my Pokemon. Some of you angry people in the comments don't like it, so I'll please you this time. As always, like the video because I said so, and if you don't, then you don't want to know what I'm gonna do to you. So press the button. And subscribe, as we're constantly growing, and who wouldn't want to be a part of someone's growth? Am I right? Alright, let's do this. Yo, I never really took the time to look at our room. I mean, this place is amazing. I need to know where my character got that carpet from. I need to know right now. All this cool stuff, and I'm forced to use Dad's old bag. Like, sorry Dad, but this thing is ugly. You know, there's only a few Pokemon that appear in Postwick. Might be a cool idea for a challenge, especially since I've never used the starters in these games, and they're obtained here as well. Bro, my man is 5 years old and is already throwing up gang signs. Since there's no version exclusive Pokemon right now, we can fast forward all the way to the wild area where dreams come true. Our first exclusive that we can find here is Otto the Seedot. I can't tell you how many attempts it took to catch this thing. He kept killing me because he didn't want to get in the Pokeball. I've never seen a Pokemon this stubborn to stay in a ball. Anyways, finally he had a neutral nature, and as always, if you can guess our nickname theme, you get a cookie. I evolved Otto into a Nuzleaf right away, and can you put a shirt on, man? Oh god, they're staring at me. I don't think Shiftry is very happy here that I took his son for battle. The next Pokemon I caught was in North Lake Mylock, a Basculin. This way we can take on Clara to get some encounters in the Isle of Armor. Now Basculin itself is not a version exclusive, however the version of it that we get depends on which game we're playing. We're playing Sword, so we get the red stripe version. Also, in order to get it right now, it's a 2% chance, so this took me about 20 minutes of fishing. Finally, after all that, we found one, and she was named Allison. We didn't get adaptability, but we did get Reckless, which could be useful, I suppose. Anyways, now we can go to the Isle of Armor, and before doing anything, we have to fight this gal right here. This actually wasn't too tough, despite her Poison Tail being super effective against Otto, but yeah, we're a couple of levels higher. Our first encounter in the Isle of Armor is going to be that Applin, and our first 3 trees, we didn't get one, but this one I actually had to shake like 5 times. I guess he was really hiding up there like the good apple he is. The apple does fall far from the tree. It was an easy catch, and I named him Arax. Pretty crappy nature, but what can you do? Unfortunately, Arax is useless until it evolves. Now believe it or not, we can come across Passimian in the Forest of Focus. I had no idea we could find it this early, and who knows, maybe I'll use it. I don't think I ever used one. Luckily we did catch him, and he was named Damon. Now right next to our Passimian, we can run into this guy, Pinsir. I'm definitely a Heracross guy, but we gotta show Pinsir some love. Eamon shall be your name from this day forth. And man, we are just not getting decent natures today. Now I was going to go catch Jangmo-O, but apparently this thing has Dragon Tail, and that just ends the battle right there, meaning we lose the encounter. Alright, pretty sad. But this is a sign that it's Passimian's time to shine, so honestly, screw the little dragon. Anyways, for now, that's all the Pokemon I'm going to catch in the wild areas. On to fight Hop. After we fight these idiots, of course. Hop's Wooloo obviously gets destroyed by one Rock Smash, and I mean, Rookity would be hard, but it's only a first stager, and on top of that, Damon has beat up, so that's a one-shot. I mean, what can I say? Damon is just way too OP for this point in the game. Now, beat up can't one-shot Grookey, but just look what he did to us. Safe to say Hop is a pushover this time around. If Hop went like this, you can imagine how Beat went. It was a straight massacre. I'd be mad too if I ran into a guy with a Passimian this early. Man, who do they think I am? AZ? Our first gym fight is Milo, and Eamon here is also kind of like Damon in the sense that he's very powerful for this point in the game. A single Bug Bite can demolish Gossifleur in one hit, and Eldegoss is sent out. Now, I don't know how this will work, as it's been a while since I've banned Dynamaxing in a challenge, but I think we'll be fine. Our first Bug Bite did a half, and his max overgrowth couldn't even do half to us. Unfortunately, this next move might not kill since Grassy Terrain heals both of us. But I have hope. We click Bug Bite, and boom, that's the battle. Now, please don't squeeze my hand. Ow, Milo. Milo! Stop! On the route right after this town, we can catch a Farfetch'd. We do have Damon, but Farfetch'd is a great encounter as I was able to get a leak in the Isle of Armor, which will boost its critical hit ratio. I did almost kill it with Eamon here, but we're all good. I named him Aegon. and he had a jolly nature. Not the best nature since he has a base 65 speed as a Surfetch, but whatever. Now there's no point in keeping him as a Farfetch, so I got 3 crits in the grass thanks to the leak that, by the way, he was holding, which is a 5% chance, and yeah, now we have a Surfetch. Honestly, our next hot fight went the exact same way thanks to Corvisquire not using Pluck, and thank God he didn't as I put a Citrus Berry on Damon on accident. Now apparently I missed a Leaf Stone in Turf Field, and this can be used right away to evolve Auto into a Shiftry. The next gym should be a breeze since Shiftry can relearn all the moves he never learned in the Pokemon Center. Our first 2 Pokemon die in one single hit, and even with Dreadnought, Dynamax, it just doesn't matter as it's quad effective. Sorry Nessa, but it's not my fault they give me a Shiftry at this point in the game. After this gym, we can come across another encounter, this time being Scraggy in the Galar Mine. Unfortunately, we did get a timid nature on her, but you know, what can you do? As always guys, if I don't include specific fights, it's because nothing happened in them like this Marnie fight thanks to Damon. Okay, our next gym fight is Kabu, and Kabu is usually always tough since 2 of his Pokemon have Will-O-Wisp. Now, I don't want to use TRs until after Piers since we have a lot of encounters to choose from. However, in the Isle of Armor, there's just TRs scattered on the floor, and apparently behind this tower is the TR for Liquidation, which I deem is okay. The reason I don't want to use TRs until after Piers is because the game is way too easy beforehand and watts are pretty much unlimited. If I only had 4 encounters, then I'd probably use TRs before Piers, but we just have so many. But yeah, TRs as ground loot in the Isle of Armor, I will allow. With Liquidation, we taught it to Helena, and now we have a strat that could work. Kabu leads that Ninetales and we lead Helena. A max attack Basculing with Liquidation and the Mystic Water item should OHKO this Ninetales. And it does no problem. With that, both Basculin and Passimian level up to level 28. Now I actually expected Arcanine here to live a Liquidation, but apparently its defenses suck balls and just die. Come on Kabu, I thought you trained your Pokemon the best you could. From here, Centiskorch comes out and of course it's going to Dynamax. My plan was to sack Helena here, and it still might happen, but we haven't been burned, so a Liquidation can do half. Now we just have to hope he doesn't crit. He didn't, and that's it. We can get off another Liquidation, finishing off the Firebug where it stands. That was big. Basculin was definitely supposed to die here. And I was going to go into Damon for free, but that works too. Up next, we can get an encounter. I tried to see what was the best course of action in terms of where to encounter each Pokemon, as most of them can be found in the same areas. I wrote everything down and decided if we catch a Swirlix here, it shouldn't interfere with any of the other encounters. However, if we fail Swirlix, the only place that's left to catch it will be in Glimwood Tangle, meaning no Indeedee, and considering we can't catch Gothita since it can only be found in Fog, I want to catch an Indeedee. So because of that, I'm going to postpone Swirlix a bit here, because if we fail it, we'll have to catch it in the Glimwood Tangle. It's all good though, as Viserys here I did catch, and it had the Sheer Force ability, which is great, especially since it can also have its other ability, Keen Eye, which of course is far less superior. You know, I really thought this guy just stole my Applin for the item, but apparently his girl doesn't want to date him until he catches one for himself. Serves you right, lazy bones. Anyways, now we can evolve him into a Flapple, and I've always wanted to use this thing. Speaking of Flapple, he's going to be our main man for the next gym. This fight usually always goes the same for any playthrough. Hitmontop is really easy to set up on since it can't do much with its move pool. Also, Aurochs learned Dragon Dance super early. Now despite this being an easy sweep, Flapple is pretty fragile, so we almost died to 2 Revenges. She used counter turn 1, which was actually huge. But now we're +3 in attack, and that's enough to destroy Dynamax Machamp in one shot. Thankfully, I did have a berry on, and we lived on 8 HP. Probably should have gave Arax a Wiki Berry, as it would have popped it early thanks to our Gluttony ability. But what can you do? Either way, now Hitmontop gets bopped by an Acrobatics. So does Pangoro, especially Surfetch. And like I said, Machamp even buffed out like this can't live a single hit. Plus we leveled up in that fight, so even more sure we KO. Sorry B. Yo, is that a heart on Yamper's bum? Gosh, this Pokemon is adorable. From here we get access to the Glimwood Tangle, and in here we can try and find Indeedee. Indeedee itself isn't a version exclusive, but the gender is what's version exclusive. Male has slightly different stats than the female, as well as having inner focus instead of own tempo. I still prefer the female one though, as it gets baton pass while the male one gets encore, but that's just how it is. Anyways, this is a 5% chance to encounter, so you can bet I'm going to be here a while. But like I said before, I have a Swirlix to catch first. I did it and named him Joffrey, and he's an adamant nature. Gross. He might just be for sack, but we'll see. Anyways, on to Glimwood Tangle. Now if we run into a Swirlix first, we can't catch it because we already have one. After some time we found one, caught it, and he was named Jace. Ah, a minus speed nature. When will we get some good natures? When? Honestly, I kind of like this Pokemon. I never gave it a look until now, but hey, I'm kind of fond of him. I mean, this is my face at work all the time. Also, I'll never understand why the male version can get the screen moves, but the female can. How does that make any sense? Now, this next gym took me a whole hour to figure out a strat for. I realized Rufflet, despite not being fully evolved, still has a decent attack stat, and we actually get 2 things to make this strat viable. U-turn and Glimbwin Tangle, and Steel Wing on Route 6. Other than this strat, we probably end up sacking something against Opal, and I also don't remember how many boosts she gives you. But anyways, Mrs. Pinocchio here starts off with a Weezing. The plan is to sweep with Viserys, our Rufflet, but Weezing does way too much damage, so I let Jace here to one-shot it with Psychic. Once that's out of the way, Mawile comes in, who gets an Intimidate off. More of a reason not to set up with Rufflet on Weezing. From here I go into our brand new Joffrey on a Crunch, and that does nothing. Then we can charm her to -6 attack. Once that's done with, I hard switch into Damon on a Draining Kiss, which does a decent chunk. Damon here is solely to get Viserys in for free. How? With a Lagging Tail. By holding it, we can U-turn late, and thankfully she just went for Iron Defense. Now we're into Viserys for free. Little does she know, this tiny ass bird is about to be her worst nightmare. Opal actually speeds up the process right on time too by giving us an attack boost, raising it by 2 stages. Now we're at +3 and we only need to set up 1 more Hone's Claws. So that's what we do, and I even set up another one because Mawile Iron Defense before, but it also Iron Defense this turn. She did pop our berry and we got her to half as she Draining Kissed us. Another thing while we're waiting for this thing to die is Rufflet has Sheer Force, which takes the added effect of Steel Wing away and gives it a boost. Once Mawile is out, Togekiss is a piece of cake, and speaking of cake, Alcremie literally got eaten alive by my pet bird. Brutal, I know, but that's nature for you. Honestly, other than that, I don't know what I would have done. If you're wondering where Hop has been, he's been getting creamed behind the scenes. Oh wait, that sounds so wrong. You know what I meant. Anyways, check out this pincer sweep. Easy Swords Dance as he just learned the move, and we have a Lumberry for his Trevenant's Confuse Ray, meaning yup, goodbye to everything on his team with a mixture of X-Scissor and Storm Throw. Sorry pal. It's time for another encounter, this time on Route 8. It's Darumaka, not the fire type one of course. It did take a bit to find, but it's worth it. There's a lot of Pokemon in this run that I've never used before. I never actually used Darumaka in my Galarian only run. By the way, go check that video out. He had a neutral nature and I named him Kristen. I actually didn't know what Guerrilla Tactics did, and now that I know, I'm kind of in disbelief. Apparently it raises our attack by 1 stage and locks us into a move. So basically I have a Choice Band without needing a Choice Band. And I can also put a Choice Band on him while basically already having a Choice Band. Crazy, I know. So for Gordy, it's pretty simple. I can lead Arax, who can immediately take care of this shell-smashing Barnacle Boy with a Grab Apple. From here, Shuckle will come out and I hard switch into Damon. From here, a Brick Break is a nice 3-hit KO, and if you're wondering why a Shuckle is outspeeding a Passimian, it's because I still had that Lagging Tail on him. This way we can U-turn late on Stonjourner for a free switch into Helena. Oddly enough, U-turn almost killed Stonjourner. From here, an Aqua Jet destroyed the Cinder Blocks. And to no one's surprise, a simple quad-effective Liquidation is enough to knock this piece of holy shit. Alright, I'm a bit surprised that thing lived. Luckily, the huge rock he threw on us didn't kill us and we popped our berry. Now 1 more Liquidation and we're good. Okay, I totally forgot about Steam Engine and I could have Aqua Jetted. Darn it. Oh well, you win some, you lose some. Sorry, Helena. Now the smart thing to do was to protect to wait out the D-Max turns, but I'm tired and just went into Damon, who took a big Max Flare. Thankfully it didn't crit, and a Brick Break finishes the battle. I shouldn't be upset about Basculin since we're about to get another encounter, but it still kind of hurt. Alright, I just checked the calc, and apparently Basculin only does like 50% with Liquidation. Wow, I was off. I don't even know how we got him that low. Anyways, as you can imagine, Pinsir took care of Hop again. I had no idea how good a Pinsir would be on Hop, but here we are. On Route 9, I found an Ice Stone, so I used that to evolve Kristen here, and now he's looking brawlic. Now I just want to show you guys how broken Guerrilla Tactics is with a Choice Band on Kristen here. I just destroyed every single Team Yell Grunt in this place. Now we can't solo Piers completely since Brick Break won't one-shot everyone, but here's what we can do. Piers leads Scrafty, and after taking that Fake Out and that Intimidate, we can Brick Break this thing to oblivion. Obstagoon comes out next, and it does use that counter, but it doesn't really matter as we switch into Damon. From here, I U-turn, and I didn't even think of the possibility of him using counter while I switch back to Kristen to reset the Intimidate. Whoops. Regardless, a Brick Break kills and Malamar comes out. I switched into Amond on a payback and got a Swords Dance up. Now a single X-Scissor demolishes Malamar, and finally his stanky skunk comes out. I forgot this thing has Sucker Punch, so now I have to switch again. From here, Damon can two-shot him with Brick Break. Ever since Basculin died, I've been wanting another water type, and it's always one I've always wanted to use, Clauncher. Now it is a 5% chance, but it was one of the first Pokemon I found in the Isle of Armor, so that was good. Imagine if this was real and this was chasing you. Man, would I shit myself. Anyways, I named her Rhaenyra, and she has a calm nature. Hey, that's a decent nature. I'll take it. I immediately evolved her into this beauty. You know, I was going to catch a Mawile as fodder, but I forgot it has Intimidate, so it could be useful, so instead I'll use Swirlix for fodder for Raihan. So I've thought about this, and I just made it simple, and if we lose Pokemon, so be it. But Raihan literally gives me a headache. Raihan leads both Gigalith and Flygon as I go ahead with Kristen and Rhaenyra. So basically we can get rid of Flygon right away with an Ice Punch, and Aura Sphere actually won't kill Gigalith, which works out great. Alright, that's if we didn't get a crit. That's good, I guess. Gigalith could have Rock Blasted, and I did have a Berry on Kristen, but if it hit 5 times, there's a chance Kristen dies. Now both Sandaconda and Duraludon come out. From here we can go into Joffrey, who, like I said, I brought to Sack, and Duraludon is going to D-Max into a Skyscraper. This thing will actually not kill Joffrey since it went for Max Knuckle instead of Max Steel Spike. Fearing a Steel Spike now, I go into Damon, and we do predict correctly. His attack boost from Max Knuckle does come in clutch there, doing more damage to us, and apparently Rhaenyra can just finish the battle up with one Black Belt boosted Aura Sphere. That wasn't supposed to kill, but maybe he had horrid special defense. Either way, Raihan with no deaths is always great. You know, I've always fought these two reporters on this route, and I don't know why I'm just realizing this now, but I can just open my portable PC box and just make it so that I have one Pokemon on my team and just go right past them no problem. I'm an idiot. It's funny because I always do this for the two reporters on Route 5, but never think about doing it here. What's worse is they're actually kind of tough with a Noivern and Klinklang, so yeah. Ladies and gents, the semifinals are starting, but let's be real, with these two chumps in these rounds, it's not much of a fight. See, Passimian can just bulk up to +4 and murder everything on her team. Of course, her Torment is annoying, so because of that, I brought Protect with me. Once we're at +4, she gets us super weak with Snarl, and we pop our Citrus Berry. Then we Drain Punch, getting almost all of our health back. From here, Scrafty comes out, and I just Protect since we can't use Drain Punch due to Torment. And after, we Drain Punch once again. Toxicroak can't live a single Iron Head, Morpeko a Drain Punch, and when Grimmsnarl comes out, it will grow to an NBA player, but Damon is out here playing rugby. Marnie, I hate to break it to you, but you suck. Now do I really have to explain Hop? I mean, Eamon has been destroying his team since the dawn of time. It's basically the same strat as always. I did forget to bring a Lumberry for Double's Body Slam, which could have ruined the strat, but thankfully we made it out alive with no para. And at +6 attack, everything on his team dies just like Marnie. Hop, get a pincer. That's my advice to you. By the way, to all of the people saying Dynamax makes the game too easy, there's always a way to beat somebody. Very rarely are you not going to beat a trainer in these games. I just Dynamax to save time and it's fun, but as you can see, there's literally always a chance. It does depend on the type of challenge you're doing, but still. Now it would be time to fight all these gym leaders, but of course the guy I've been purposely leaving out of the video decides it's his time to be the star on camera. Well, I'll give you what you're asking for, but you're gonna be humiliated. Beat starts off with a Mawile that uses Intimidate, so I'd lead Joffrey. We charm him to lower his attack, and this way his Iron Head won't kill us with no crit of course. We pop our Berry, and now we can charm him again. His Iron Head almost did it to us, but we're still kicking. Now we do it one more time as I think we can live, and there we go, we do live with Swirlix still standing strong. From here I hard switch into Damon. And just like Opal, we can U-turn late with the Lagging Tail he's holding. That is, if I could have remembered to put it on him. Oh well, anyways, we just had to hard switch into Pinsir. What a bummer. From here we can get to +6 attack as his Play Rough doesn't do jack shit to us. Mawile, Gardevoir, and Rapidash proceed to die right after this. As for Hatterene, even its Dynamaxing couldn't save it from this monster of a Pokemon. I mean, just look at his face. Next up is Nessa for our first finalist. Last time we couldn't use RX against her, he was just sitting on the sidelines, and naturally that made him mad. So now he's going to go off on her. Nessa starts off with a Galissopod, and I lead an evolved Slurpuff thanks to PK Hex. Oh, get over it, we're on an emulator. Turn 1, I protect in case of first impression, and she goes for a Liquidation. Now I go for a Cotton Guard to better tank her hits like this one. From here, I start charming her. I did this until she's -6 attack without her using Swords Dance. Now I can hard switch into Damon, who is still doing Lagging Tail shenanigans. He did switch in on a sword stance though, which sucks. After she uses another sword stance and we with Lagging Tail taunt her late to get more turns of taunt as I learned it in my last run. Now taking another liquidation, we pop 2 birds with 1 stone, no pun intended with that Lagging Tail, and you turn into Arceus for free. Gliscopod is at -2 attack and can't sword stance for 2 more turns. This should allow me to get to +4 attack as well as speed without dying. I need +4 in speed to outspeed Barraskewda in the rain since it has Swift Swim, and Pelipper sets up Rain with Drizzle. We get to +4 easily, and now a Grav Apple kills the strong bug, and Barraskewda actually comes out next. Wow, I'm an idiot. Of course it's going to come out before Pelipper. It has Ice Fang, but better safe than sorry though, as Pelipper also has a super effective move on us. Anyways, from here, Barraskewda, Seeking, and Pelipper all die from a single apple hitting them in the head. Don't tell me how a little tiny apple knocks out this huge ass dinosaur, but I don't make the rules. It's funny though. Rufflet actually evolved right in time at the cap, which would be good, but I actually decided to use Indeedee. So same as with Nessa, Weedly Joffrey. You guys know where this is going. We get her to -6 attack, and I even got a wish off as she went for a flying press. Now I hard switch into Jace, who can come in on a what? How dare you crit on my gorgeous Indeedee? Well, at least I have Arceus for backup. Now luckily, as I went for 2 dragon dances, she used flying press. She hit us twice, didn't crit, and that popped our Wikiberry. I need to get 1 more off, so I do, and thankfully she didn't crit. Now at +3 attack, an acrobatic destroys you, and especially you. Didn't go as planned, but I mean, that's Pokemon for you, isn't it? I love you, Jace. Rest in peace. Oh, he does not look happy.
I'm not happy, Bob. Not happy.
Well, since we've lost another team member, I decided to go into the desert in the Isle of Armor. Remember how we never caught a Jangmo-O? Well, here she is. Now this thing still has Dragon Tail, so I came prepared. I used Fire Spin so that it couldn't flee. I don't know if that's how that works, but either way, we caught her in 2 balls. I evolved her right away and added her to the team. She has a modest nature, which is alright, but I wanted her to be a physical attacker, so either way I still EV trained her in attack. Now we can take on Rhyhorn. He leads Torkoal, who has Drought and an annoying yawn. With our new girl Cyrax, I taught her Belly Drum. Since he can't do much to us, I figured he'd go for that yawn, but he didn't and instead went for a body press, which is fine, and we Belly Drum turn 1 of the fight. I did have a Lumberry in case though. Now we're at max attack, and I'm sure Rhyhorn is shitting bricks right now. Now, just in case this thing has perfect defense IVs and a good nature, I went with Dragon Claw instead of Drain Punch, and that takes this thing out no problem. On Turtonator, we Drain Punch, getting pretty much all of our health back. Flygon is out, and we do outspeed for the KO with Dragon Claw. Goodra can't withstand a single Drain Punch, and finally his Duraludon is on the field. In a last resort to stay alive, this thing becomes a skyscraper. But it doesn't matter, my guy. We're a max attack Kommo-o with the worst stats on attack, and it will still destroy you. Admit it, you're weak, Rhyhorn. Weak! That's why Leon became champion and left you in the dust. You can imagine the same thing happened to Chairman Rose. This Pokemon is a straight demon. Speaking of a straight demon, we can use him against Leon if everything works out. As always, Leon has that AG Slash first, and we have our Kommo-o with a Citrus Berry attached. Thankfully, he used King Shield first, and we can get off a nice Dragon Dance to not only up our attack by 1 stage, but our speed as well. The following turn we can get a Swords Dance off, but his Flash Cannon actually crits, putting us into Citrus range. Now he could either attack here and we're fine, or he can King Shield again, meaning if we attack, we'll get our attack lowered since we make contact. So I went for a Swords Dance instead, and thank God we did, since he did in fact go for that King Shield. From here, a Fire Punch can KO AG Slash in 1 shot. Haxorus comes out next, and it as well can't live a single hit. Mr. Rhyme gets burned to a crisp, no problem. And since we got a speed boost from D-Dance, we can now outspeed Dragapult, and it as well just doesn't stand a chance against our drugged out Cyrax. We can also outspeed this stick of a Pokemon to get a big Dragon Claw, killing it. Now all that's left is Charizard, and I think this might not kill, but let's see. Leon of course Dynamaxes the beast, and as I predicted, a Dragon Claw will not kill, and Leon will destroy Cyrax and give her a noble death. You were amazing for the short time we had you, girl. You know, I always forget that Leon has full restores. Because of this, I used Aqua Jet. From here I went into Arceus on a max overgrowth, and now his D-Max turns are over. Well, I guess our 2 dragons just straight up hit the hay on this one, but it's alright. Since Charizard is no longer Dynamaxed, Solar Beam will in fact take 2 turns to hit, meaning Rhaenyra's Water Pulse is enough to send this wannabe dragon to oblivion. Good riddance, Leon. Alright, there you guys have it. Can you beat Pokemon Sword with version exclusive Pokemon under hardcore Nuzlocke rules? Yes, You can, and you can do it by a long shot. The Pokemon we got access to were amazing, and they all worked beautifully together. This was super fun, and if you guys did enjoy it, I ask you to please give it a like and subscribe for more content like this. Hopefully we can do this in Scarlet and Violet. Well, anyways, bye guys!